Hi, my name is Simone. I'll be your social worker for today. Can I shake your hand, please?
Yes.
What's your name?
My name is Elena.
Elena, nice to meet you. So I did receive your scale, and thank you for filling this out, by the way. But before we start, I do want to just let you know that confidentiality is important here. Anything that is discussed between me and you will not leave this room unless it is endangering elders or children. Then I'm legally obligated to inform the law. But let's just start off. So I see from the form you filled out that you did lose your job. So can you tell me, like, what has life been like since you've lost that job?
Well, me and my kids and my children, we have been bouncing from our family members house to house, but it's making me unstable seeing that my children have to constantly miss school, or I've even had to exchange their schools in the past 6 months about twice, just because we don't have a home. And losing my job, it really put a damper on my relationship with my children. We used to be a tight-knit family, but after my husband passed, the world has been upside down, and I just feel even ashamed to be here today. I feel like my duties as a mother are rippling into a disaster.
Now, after hearing you say that, I do see that there are some concerns you have now that you no longer work, but what would you think is the most concerning situation currently that you're experiencing?
Well, I've overstayed my welcome at my aunt's house. She is not really kind to my children, and I don't want to be in the space or predicament where I feel like I have to defend myself. But without me having a house, I've been in seek of trying to find shelters that could possibly help me out, but all of them are full. Some of them limit the children that you can have. I have 3. Most of the limits are 2, and they have to be of a certain age bracket. All of these places are saying they have to be between the ages of infant to 5 years old, but my children are 8 and 7 and 2. I just don't know. So that's the issue right now is housing.
Okay. Now, I do see that you're unable to control things according to your scale. You said that you feel very often not able to control your surroundings or juggle things. And as of now, do you have any ideas or thoughts that you would like to happen for your future?
I would like to at least be put in the opportunity to get a job, some type of job search market program through one of the sources that I've saw for single mothers, just so that I'm able to get on my feet and provide for my children. That's the biggest thing I need right now, is stability, and then I can feel like I'll gain some type of control in my life.
So you're needing support, is what I can hear. You need support to build stability. Got you. Now, how do you usually make sense of the challenges you faced?
Well, I'm really big on faith. However, lately I don't think it's working for me. I pray and I pray and I pray, but I'm not seeing an outcome. So it's like, what's the point? What is the point of praying if I'm unable to get anything in return? Even just to hear back from God, how I have had in the past. In the churches, they haven't been as helpful as I thought they would be. So I'm kind of questioning where I stand in my faith right now.
Now, you stated earlier that you do handle a lot of stress. Are there any ways you cope with all the amount of stress you go through? I know you said you pray, but is there anything else you do besides praying?
I really don't have the time. I'm either with my children or out seeking job opportunities. I used to be able to take a bubble bath and light a candle, and I can't do it anymore. I'm unsure of when I will be able to do that again. Seeing that I'm now over 3 children without my husband, there is no time for me.
Got you. Understandable completely. Now I'm just gonna go over your stress scale because there are some things I didn't notice that I would love to discuss. So I see for number 9, it said in the last month, how often have you been angered because of things that have happened outside of your control? You did put that as fairly often. Could you go into more detail about that?
Well, to just give you an example, um, my children were hungry one night, and sorry, they were hungry one night, and I couldn't really afford to give them what they wanted, and they threw a temper tantrum, just all instinct at one time, and I felt so overstimulated and regretful and shameful that I literally could not provide them food that they could eat, and I had to step out of my car on the street and beg for money, and that really defeated me. It was really traumatic, my children having to witness that, and everything was outside of my control.
Now, is this a one-time occurrence, or has this occurred multiple times?
I've made it a habit to do it occasionally while they're at school, just so they wouldn't have to witness it. But I don't think I will be doing that any longer. It's humiliating, makes me angry. I don't want to do it anymore.
Completely get that. Now, I know you said prior that you are a family-oriented person and you do spend a lot of time with your children, and you just like being in a family presence. You didn't mention any other family members besides your kids. Is there anyone else out there who's able to, assist in certain ways or help you deal with all this stuff?
Well, I was staying with my sister. She has children of her own, a husband of her own, and I really didn't want to be, someone who crowded her space. So I released myself from there. And then I moved on to my aunt. And again, she's just not the best person to be around. Very miserable woman. And I don't have anyone else. My parents are deceased. My husband is deceased. Grandparents are gone. And it's just me and my sister. We don't have any cousins. All of our family is back in New Jersey. I mean, our parents moved out here for military, and so that's the spiel. We just don't have anyone.
And then I also remember you stating that you don't have time to cope. But what were some of the things when you did have time? What would you do to cope?
Well, when my husband was alive, coping for me or just relief was self-care. I was a full-time nurse, and so when I did have the time, I would take bubble baths, and I was really good with aromatherapy. I did have a therapist, but losing that job also meant losing benefits, so insurance would not cover them. The sessions anymore, sorry. Those were the things. I love to cook.
Yes. What do you enjoy cooking?
Well, my specialty actually is zucchini and squash baked casserole. My children love it. It's an amazing addition to anything, any entree you can think of. And then if I'm just cooking for my kids, they love Mama's quesadillas.
Amazing. I love to hear that. And from all that information I received, I can tell that you do love just being around people who love you and reciprocate that back to you. Now, back to our skill. I did ask you on here in the last month, how often have you felt nervous or stressed?
Yeah, it's I love my children. I would die for them. They are dealing with the loss of their father as well, and I can't take that experience away from them. However, my two oldest, they fight all the time. I'm dealing with the terrible twos. You know what? I'm not even gonna call them terrible twos. They are graceful twos, teaching me how to have grace and patience. But being around them 24/7, no break. Sometimes I have thoughts that I'm not necessarily proud of. I will never hurt my children. Sometimes I just want to go away. I just want to melt into the abyss. I can't escape. I don't have help. it's not easy. It's not easy. And I fear that if I'm not careful, especially with receiving help, that I will lose them. Sometimes I envision nights without them just to escape my reality. But that is the main stressor. Just no break.
Well, we obviously don't want you to go anywhere. You are a great mother from what I've heard. But one of our main goals of the discussion is to find a way to reduce your stress. Now, although there might not be physical things you can reach out to or someone you can go to at times during needs, you need to just find something that you can do in the moment of a stressful point. Do you have any breathing techniques? Are you aware of any?
Well, there was this one
Sorry.
that, it's okay. There was this one where in the hospital, when we had patients who were really anxious about, getting fluids or shots or anything, I would tell them to breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 4 seconds, and breathe out for 4 seconds. And while they do that, they envision the square of them doing this so that it can really bring those nerves down. So I try to incorporate that in moments of high stress, when my children are being rowdy, when I'm not making good on my panhandling. Sometimes all you need is a breather. So that helps.
Perfect. And then I also wanted to get to know more on the toll that was brought upon you after your husband's death, because I do see you did rate a lot of our questions, a 4 being very often that these occurred. And those questions were just based off of your levels of stress, your ability to grasp onto things. To just tie that all together, how quickly was the grasp, or what was it like to feel just being put in the moment of my husband has passed, now I have to go into action?
Well, I felt helpless. I felt a great loss of ability to perform as a wife. Well, I actually lost my ability to be a wife because I no longer have a husband. I could no longer, of course, take care of my children, so my motherhood was hit. I felt depleted. I felt ashamed. Sometimes I blame myself. I encouraged him to go into the military, just like my family, and it cost him his life. He died doing something that I encouraged him to do. And it's not like he loved it, so who wants to lose their life doing something they don't enjoy? And he could have been doing what he wanted all along, chasing his dreams. He wanted to be a realtor, but I just didn't see the lucrative or stability in that. I wasn't used to that type of lifestyle. My father provided because of his benefits in the military, and I just thought that it could help us out.
So you almost, in a sense, we could say you wanted to follow a pattern that was an example for you when you were a child. As of now, are there different things you want to do so your children won't have to experience this when they do become of age?
Well, given the opportunity, I see myself, when I am stable in my own house and being able to provide for my children, I see myself demonstrating what it means to be resilient. I want them to see independence, however, have the ability to rely on others. I don't want them to be hyper focused on I can do it by myself, because the reality is we cannot. And I want my children to know and feel and understand that it is okay to ask for help. I know I said earlier that I was ashamed by being here, but I truly value a helping hand. My profession was nursing, so that's where my heart is. I guess I just feel ashamed because I never saw myself in this predicament, but I want to teach my children that help is needed and to receive it.
And that is a good moral to live by. And I would also like to just thank you for attending this meeting today. I would love it if we can meet more, and I hope to see you soon.